Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video of DIY investing. Today we are going to be talking about Chainlink, why this is going to be setting itself up for the biggest cycle that we've seen up to this point, and why Chainlink specifically is so much better positioned than many of the other cryptos to see institutional adoption. I wanted to break down the long-term cycles of Chainlink, making sure that you guys all understood exactly why this setup looks so bullish and why we can make so much profit long-term by investing into Link. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you find any value in this video, please do me a favor. Hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. And without further ado, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, here we are jumping into today's video, and we're going to be talking about the long-term price of Link. We're going to be speculating a little bit about why I think that this thing is such a good buy in the long term, in the short term, and how a lot of people are kind of overlooking this project just because it's one of the ones from the last cycle. What I've noticed into this bull market is because so many people are focused on memes, which don't get me wrong, I've been making a lot of money on meme coins, but I've been taking profits and using those to rotate back into my long-term holds. Long-term holds like Chainlink, projects that are positioned better than all of the other ones in the market because of the fact these guys have kind of laid the framework for institutional adoption. And with Chainlink being such a big backbone inside of the DeFi economy, I do have nothing but confidence this is going to be one of the better projects to be looking at long term. Jumping into this chart, one of the biggest things I always tell you guys is when we're looking at market cycles, it's important to be comparing it with the emotions, because the whole reason we have these market cycles is because humans come in and buy them, and it's because of the human emotion attached to the money that we invest that we end up seeing these big market cycles. Crypto is a product of so much raw human emotion that ends up coming into these markets, a lot of speculative money, and this is why I've always told you guys that it's easy to identify what is taking place in a market if you understand the emotions that are attached to how people actually invest their money. Now, the thing that we're going to be talking about today is actually the Wall Street cheat sheet, and the reason I like to talk about this is because this really identifies how humans behave emotionally when we're investing, and we're going to go ahead and apply this to what we see inside of the Chainlink chart, because by the end of this video I have nothing but confidence that you guys are going to understand exactly why Chainlink and the Link token itself is so positioned to have so much upside over this next calendar year of 2025. Coming in here and looking at the Wall Street cheat sheet, this is more or less what we're going to be seeing across not only Chainlink, but you guys can apply this to a lot of other cryptos that you may be investing in as well. But at the beginning of a cycle, it's what's known as the disbelief phase. The beginning is always basically after the end of a crash, or there's not been any prior price history that you can pull from, and so this is really where nobody genuinely has any expectations towards it, and really nobody is expecting it to do anything at that point. When it starts to really break out and show upside potential, that's what's known as the hope. And you can see that it says a recovery is possible. People start to really buy into the idea that the asset is going to continue to appreciate. And when you start getting towards the blow off top end phase of the market cycle, and if we're looking at Chainlink in the last cycle, this would have been the peak point in the summer of 2021. There were certain altcoins that continued to go up with Bitcoin when it peaked at the end of that year, but Chainlink ended up peaking a little bit earlier in our last cycle and started a much lengthier period of accumulation. But that's what we are going to experience inside of this blow off top. Optimism, this rally is real. Belief, time to get fully invested. Thrill, I will buy more on margin. I got to tell everybody. These are the type of emotions that you see, and you can actually analyze these cycles and know exactly how you're feeling yourself. If you're somebody that's seeing some market blow up and you're getting the idea to take out heavy leverage positions, generally speaking, you're going to be the opposite end of this spectrum, and you're going to be losing money the whole time you're trying to make money over the course of our cycles. Many people are going to just get in their own way. They're going to be trying to be day traders. They're going to be trying to do making all these risky moves, when really if we just stick to our long-term holds, we're going to make way more long-term profit. Now, this is what happens on the way back down. You go through the opposite end of the spectrum with negative emotions, the first lower high complacency, relatively the same thing that we saw right over in this period for Chainlink when Bitcoin was going to its new all-time high, and Chainlink ended up making a lower high in that same move. And now you go through all these same events, but what I find interesting here is if we actually come over and look at the Chainlink chart, what I think we've done at this point is completely finished an entire cycle, going all the way from the beginning of its last cycle over in here, the disbelief phase of that cycle, all the way ending into a euphoric blow off top, same type of price action and emotions that we're actually seeing inside of the Wall Street cheat sheet. Now, we've gone through the capitulation, the anger, and the depression. I believe that that was what we experienced inside of this long-term bottom formation that Chainlink built, basically at the end of 2022, beginning of 2023. Now, if you notice here, the disbelief phase actually repeats 2 different times. We see that right over in here at the beginning of the trend before the blow off top, and we see it right here at the ending of the bear market when it's just starting to create a new cycle. And that's not coincidental. The reason why is because at the very beginning of a cycle, it's happening at the very ending of a downtrend, right? And that's the way that we would measure an entire cycle, is from peak low all the way until the next peak low of the cycle. So when we're looking at this cycle right now, I do believe that Chainlink has already finished that first little breakout. We flipped our bear market bottom as new support in the same ways that the disbelief phase does the same thing inside of the Wall Street cheat sheet. So with us having already broken back up, made a new high, I do believe we're exiting out of the disbelief phase, and we will start this period into hope, where I expect Chainlink to rally all the way into a new all-time high. And it's during that phase of price discovery that I do think that we're going to enter that period of hope and lead us into some sort of a blow off top, similarly to what we saw inside of that first Chainlink cycle. Only this one we have way more money throwing into Chainlink. It's going to be a much greater cycle. And what I like to tell you guys is when we start a new cycle, many people don't realize just how crazy these get. So when you take the prior cycle of Chainlink and you overlay it to what we're seeing today, this is more or less what I'm expecting to see for this cycle. Now guys, when we're looking at Chainlink here, this is more or less how the cycle plays out to some degree. I can't stretch this to perfectly fit it, but you guys get the idea of how the emotions play out in a similar way between the hope, optimism, belief, and euphoria, and then on the way back down, the same type of emotions. Now, where I believe we're inside of this disbelief phase, but the thing is, remember, when we're looking at this from a long-term basis, let me zoom in here, at the hope, this is really where we start breaking out, going into a new all-time high. And look at this type of price structure that we end up experiencing. It's this rising type of channel, and we end up breaking out of that and going extremely parabolic into a blow off top. I believe the same move is basically what is going to be taking place right over in here, where we run to all-time highs. We work at a little bit of resistance from people from the last cycles that bought the top. They're going to end up looking to exit into those positions at break even and move into something else. Maybe they heard about Dogecoin and they thought that that was a good idea. And so we should expect to see a little bit of selling that takes place as we ultimately accumulate into a much bigger type of move. And where I do believe that we're going to experience Chainlink topping at the end of this cycle is more or less going to be around that I'd say like $300 to $500 range, but we could see Chainlink's price discovery happen to get really overextended because of all of the institutions that we have. Is it possible that we see $1,000 Chainlink? I think that anything is possible in this cycle, and we're going to see a lot of people surprised by how well many of these different cryptos ended up performing, and that's the big thing to understand here. There's going to be a lot of institutional involvement, and the cryptos that mean the most inside of the crypto economy and DeFi like Chainlink, those are going to be the ones that end up experiencing the most adoption when that institutional money starts to inflow into these. This is my analysis on Link. I'm really bullish on it long term. I truly believe that this is going to be one of the very best performing cryptos. When we look back over the next 5 to 10 years and see which ones actually got adoption, Chainlink is going to be a front runner in all of that. So I want you guys to be aware that we are about to be running into a new all-time high. And if you guys did find any value in this video, please do me a favor, hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. Make sure you don't miss out on any of these videos like the one I'm providing. And once again, if you guys do want to end up seeing anything that I'm buying, selling, trading over these cycles, when I'm taking profit, anything that I'm doing with my money long term, you guys can go ahead and actually sign up for my Discord server, and we're running a 25% discount throughout all of December. So if this is something that is interesting to you guys want to actually get a discount into that, make sure you guys sign up. Links are in the description. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for supporting this channel. I will catch you guys in the next one. As always, peace out.